okay, I'm just gonna ask this question, right? We're gonna do this for every single one of them, right? Like, how many can they actually win the next 6?
Be hard to say, bro. Because now they haven't won one.
Correct. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Futbol Kaki. I am your host, Eldet, and I'm joined by my fellow Kaki bros, Jordan and Paul. We did not hijack media this week; it's just the three of us.
We saw him away.
Yes, but the usual three of us are back this week. So, boys, how are you doing?
Not so bad and not so good.
Why, George? Is it because of
2 points drop, man?
Yeah, points.
Not
drop.
1 point gain.
No. We look at the bigger amount.
I think for the other one is 1 point gain lah, but for Arsenal is 2 points drop. So
I think it's Spurs that is 2 points drop.
I don't know lah, bro. I think it was even lah, but we'll get into that later, right? But bro, guys, ask you I don't know about this. Right? I was thinking about what to say during this particular introduction, right? But what's the more important things in football, especially in the fashion sense?
What is the more important thing in football?
Yeah, in terms of fashion, let's say you minus out the boots.
I was gonna say boots, for sure boots, bro.
What
Maybe hair tattoo.
Hair tattoo. Okay, but you take out tattoo for once, right? Like, I don't know lah. Like,
Then definitely hair, bro.
but now, don't you find that a lot of the players all look the same? Like, just aesthetically.
It's just the modern era haircuts, you know. Like how in the past they used to have the mullet, the mohawk, all this, right? Now it's the current era of like the undercuts, the skin fade,
Yeah.
buzz cut and all this.
Yeah, but I think that some of it, I don't know lah. To me, they just look ugly. Like, and the thing is that there are only certain looks that certain players can pull off. For example, like black players like Rashford, Bellingham, right? They can pull off the fade like super well because they have the curly hair and everything like that. But if you ask them to pull off like the Mario Gomez style haircut or the
Like the
Marco
comeback,
the comeback, wow, they just don't look good.
Actually,
Maybe only Grealish.
oh, okay. Grealish sometimes that one's still acceptable, but you look at the amount of gel or wax on Pickford's hair.
That one is he buy the mama shop the good look.
But
He used like 3 fingers that one.
yeah, bro. But the thing is that you know how much product I think that they actually use now. Because if you actually think about it, Mario Gomez, it's like he's known for having like the best hair, right? Remember for
Yeah.
everything like that, right? But when he's got header, right, his hair don't move on it.
The hair still perfect.
It stays the same one.
Because you use your forehead into header, ma.
But bro,
because when you comb back, your forehead has no hair, ma. So header.
But the thing is that you think about it, right? Even if you jump out and you move, your hair goes like your hair. Already
Even if he's sideways, then before the camera pan on him, he faster.
Imagine
adjust
all
back,
these people, right? If without such hairstyles, right, they can score more goals because of their handsome, nice hairstyle. They are subconsciously taking care. Oh, my hair I better hit him well at here.
That's why Mourinho was angry. Right? He said when he was managing Real Madrid, a lot of them were looking in the mirror before they were more focused on looking in the mirror before the match start.
Yeah.
So I think he was referring to some players lah. At that time, Benzema got no hair, so I don't think.
No lah, but okay. But if you look at it at the time, right, the one that had probably was like Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, Ramos.
100% Ronaldo will confirm look in the mirror.
Yeah, Ronaldo, Ramos,
Di Maria.
Di Maria.
Di Maria had the like mini forehead at the time.
Xabi Alonso. They don't really. I don't think he will care, right?
No, Xabi. I don't think he really care. Probably maybe Ozil.
He wear the Ozil that time wear the headband.
Ozil that time had the hairband.
Marcelo. Pepe, bro, confirm Pepe.
I don't know.
I think he was just referring to Ronaldo and Ramos.
Maybe, but I don't know lah. We shall see. I don't know lah. Like I think football and fashion always go together, right? But boots wise is the more common thing. I just want to throw something there about hairstyles, like, because hairstyles are always unique. But speaking of hairstyles, right? One guy with a very, very nice comeback start in the game against Arsenal, Mr. James Maddison. Yes, 2 assists.
James Maddison. He got comeback, man. I thought it's just a normal.
Actually, his hair is like
like a normal crew cut.
He come back.
But I got a feeling his hair is getting more and more thin. Why the silence?
Because I
just trying to picture. I focus on his playing style, not his hair.
No, then his beard all here bushy hair, like some patches here and there.
Yeah, bro. Madison is a comeback. Madison is a comeback. Former Spurs
Matters.
captain Harry Kane also had nice hair when he actually wanted to do it properly. But we move on from the hairstyles and the haircuts. Arsenal played Spurs at the Emirates yesterday. We are recording this on a Monday, by the way. So the North London derby happened, right? 2-2 was the final score. I thought it was a fair result, but let's ask the guy who said that he felt it was 2 points drop rather than 1 point gain. Jordan, what was your
Yeah, it's a 2 point drop. I find the substitution was quite harsh one. I mean, if for Rice that matter, his injury, then I rest that case. But
Yeah.
subbing out Fabio Vieira, he's doing okay. Right? Then you put in Kai Havertz, it slow the thing down. Right?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, bro.
What
Yeah,
happened to Rice? I saw he was on the bench, but I didn't hear the commentator. What happened?
I heard it's a calf injury, like a slight calf injury. I think they want to
Like precaution.
precaution. I mean, like you play precaution, you just sub Jorginho in You play
That's what he did, what?
yeah, he subs Jorginho in, but you don't sub two slow players inside.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the Jorginho that mistake was horrendous.
Yeah, his mistake cost them the goal straight away.
You're referring to the second goal, right, George?
Yeah, second goal.
The second goal. Yeah. That was atrocious. That was atrocious. Because I find when I saw that actually happen, I was like, wow. And the thing is that Madison's not still a very good tackler of the ball.
Yeah, man.
But he can press. That's the thing.
He can press lah. But the thing is that at that particular point in time, right, you're sloppy with the ball, right? Then Madison's assist ability and his passing ability, so you go slot in, right? He come in and just pass to Son type in 2-2.
Yeah, it sound like just pass the ball in the net.
Yeah, no, correct. So I
Yeah,
think, but
never use power some more.
Yeah, just precision beats power.
correct. But I don't know, George. Like I find that, like if you're looking at both goals, right, that Arsenal conceded, do you think that minus the carelessness with the ball, right? Do you find the first goal the defending was a bit sloppy?
I find the first goal it could have been
It's like a
better.
50-50 ball kind of.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 cause well done by Son to nip just right before any Arsenal player can block that out lah.
Yeah.
But if you say the build-up games like what Paul have mentioned, Raya should have just let it go or not. I mean, we were saying that from the broadcast angle, it looks like going in lah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think Ben White or when Madison got off Saka.
He turned Saka.
Yeah. Then the White or whoever that is supposed to close down should have been slightly faster.
Yeah.
To prevent from the cutback.
I think it's also because like maybe the right back trusted Saka enough to a point where like, okay, Saka, you can deal with him. I come down to the middle and flank. But then the thing is that the way Madison just got past him, he just literally turned.
Yeah.
As a defending team, you're supposed to force the attacking player back to his goal. Yeah, but he tried to cover the back way, so he opened the corner flat for him.
Yeah. So in the end, it opened up like a bit of space, right, so that he could get to the ball and then he just square over lah. I do agree with George in a sense where like defending into the build up was a bit left it to be desired, right? But the one where Son nicked it, right, is basically just whoever got there first. I think it's that type of scenario. Then speaking of which, right, the handball. the handball. The same person that got the handball, Mr. Romero, he had a handball inside the 6-yard box. I mean, the one clear cut is a handball. But I gotta say one thing. Do you find, right, that in that particular like second half, I don't know why, but when I was watching this, I felt like I was watching the same corner over and over and over again. Because the ball kept getting Arsenal's corners kept going into the same spot consistently. So I was like, are they replaying the corner again? Or is it the same thing?
No, I remember the when they flashed the 10-minute added on. Then I think the first 5 minutes they were like, what? I think how many 5 or 6 corners? Yeah. Non-stop. But I think overall I felt that Bissouma had a solid game.
Yeah.
The ease Bissouma. And then when they took Rice out, the midfield sometimes a bit exposed.
Yeah. I was hoping this Spurs left back
Yudogi.
Yeah.
Yudogi.
Who get a second yellow card.
But he's not bad, huh?
Super early,
Yeah.
Like, please foul. Please get a foul.
Please get a foul. That's why they should put Saka to whack him more, right?
Yeah. Like, you were saying, Alex was saying, like, how come the corners look similar, right?
Yeah.
They actually hire this coach, right? Set piece coach to they have a few scenarios. So it's up to them. They want to play what kind of scenarios.
Yeah.
So like, let's say, maybe the first two corners they want to do 6 yard. All the top players will be congregated at the far post.
Yeah.
Then after that, they will run towards the near post. Something like that. Then also there's short corners also have.
No, because I was looking at it, right, and I was like watching a few corners, right. Is how consistent the corner is, right, and where the ball placement actually ends up being. It's actually quite scary.
Yeah.
Like it was always within that same vicinity one. Like it's like, hey, this is very, 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 very precise in terms of corner taking. But the corner led to the handball, which led to the penalty, which I think, right, honestly, should have been a game-winning goal if not for Jorginho's mistake. But we've already spoken about that. I think for what I see, right, I think George and Paul, I think probably you agree, right? It's more, this game was more of like Spurs taking their opportunities rather than it was like them getting a draw and Arsenal like losing and Arsenal just making careless mistakes that actually eventually cost them the victory. I think that's what was more of the scenario in this particular case. That's what I think. But I think for the main thing and the biggest topic going into this game was of course the change in goalkeeper, whereby Arteta decides to drop Ramsdale for Raya. So George's impression on the goalkeeping change, did it have an impact, or do you feel like it was relatively the same as if you were to have either goalkeeper on the field?
Definitely, in my opinion, after 3 match, I think there's some changes in terms of the playing style.
Yep.
I was quite surprised Raya got the balls to come out to play a sweeper keeper role at the Spurs game.
Fast,
yeah. Like, what are you doing here, bro? Yeah. I would say this whole debate thing about Ramsdale and Raya, right? I watched I'm not sure if y'all saw the video I shared with y'all. This Peter Schmeichel totally disagree Ramsdale being replaced by Raya. He keep saying that he's so much better, blah blah blah. I do disagree with him. Ramsdale, no doubt, Ramsdale is a good goalkeeper, but he does make mistakes.
Yeah.
Especially the last few games of the last season. To be honest, the way Peter Schmeichel said, people should be comfortable. I reject that. Like, there should be competition in all departments. I mean, why does keeper have the privilege to not have the competition? What do you think, Paul?
I feel bad. I think I will move to Paul because Paul, I think he has his opinion on this. I know him for very long. He has had this opinion for years because of a previous goalkeeping situation. But my view on this, right, is that basically I think Schmeichel was talking about the old school generation goalkeepers. I find that in terms of like wanting to keep your spot, right, the generational change between the olden day goalkeepers like Van der Sar, like Buffon, like Casillas, like Degro, David Seaman, right? It's like you comfortable enough, right, that you do your work hard enough to a point where like no matter what, right, is unquestioned, I am number one. I think that's what he's referring to in a sense where it's like, oh, it's comfortable because no matter what, right, you cannot touch me because I'm just better than you. I think that was the mentality that the older goalkeepers had, right? But modern day goalkeepers, when they say comfortable, means that they think that, oh, I'm guaranteed a place, I don't need to work as hard. Or like I find that I'm guaranteed a place, I don't need to think so much because I'm gonna start anyway. So what's the difference if I perform well game to game? So that's my perspective. Paul, what do you think?
I think a lot of people are not used to this now because they never seen it before. They have like two top goalkeepers fighting for one position, especially like when you just bought Ramsdale last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember. And also now we also see the top teams in EPL like Liverpool, Spurs. Like I want to say Man U, like Liverpool and City, right? They also don't have like a second choice keeper that is equivalent to their first choice. So maybe to Pep and to Klopp, right? It's like one good solid goalkeeper is all I need. Then maybe the second keeper is like can do maybe 60-70% of what the first keeper can do also. Yeah.
But
because that like tension between because like what Peter Schmeichel says also is that when you look at your keeper, right, you want them to give you the reassured feeling. Yeah, you want the stability, you want the calmness of a goalkeeper. So I see that in Raya, but sometimes like what Jordan also said last year Arsenal Ramsdale cost them I think 2 or 3 games. Yeah. So but I also saw what Thierry already said. They got rid of Leno. They got in Ramsdale to bring them to top 4. Yeah. So, but maybe Arteta feels that with Raya, I can win the league rather than Ramsdale.
Maybe. So do you think it's a psychological thing for Arteta? Because he's seen what happened last season, right? So is he saying that like
I mean, he just wants an upgrade, which is not wrong because like you will want to perfect your team the way you want it, right?
Correct.
It's just that because it is causing some unrest. Because Ramsdale you have to admit his English, he's drawing attention and it's like Arsenal's number 1 for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Suddenly get kicked out, then it's like this is a controversial point for Arteta now.
Arteta's quite smart is he sell away Matt Turner. And then when you replace a keeper, people first in your thought that it's just a second goalkeeper choice.
Yeah, you thought Raya is the second choice. Yeah.
Then you see now it makes both goalkeepers so important, right? Then if one day, like let's say end of this season, somebody gonna approach Ramsdale, it's gonna be a high price.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think that's what a lot of people say. So maybe I agree. Imagine if Ramsdale bench from now until January, maybe he will consider leaving, right?
Yeah.
It's like you suddenly lose your number 1 spot.
But I think being Arteta, he will always
reassure them right?
Push Ramsdale to what you're gonna leave now. You're not gonna push and win back your spots or something like that.
I think it's also a psychological thing because like he has to find a way to motivate both of them. Because like the reason why I say this, right, is because for Man United, right, it has prior to De Gea leaving, right, this happens every 3 to 4 years. And Paul said before, it's like there will come a point where De Gea gets too comfortable, right? Then he slackens.
Yes.
The moment
you need competition in the sport.
The moment you throw in one competition, suddenly the old De Gea is back. Yeah. So like let's say for example, when he first came into United, right, it was the Linegaard, and he won. Then after that, he became a bit stable, right? Romero come into the picture, he won again. Then down the line, it was
Victor Valdez. Victor Valdez is what?
Oh, Victor Valdez, then he won again. Then Henderson won again. So sometimes it might just be a psychological thing where, okay, he's slackened off. What is the history? I throw in a bit of competition, then he ignite something. So I would think that maybe Arteta is looking at that. But the thing is that if that doesn't work out with Ramsdale, right, at least he's still got a shirt number 1 in Raya. So either way, right, I think Arteta wins.
No, but the thing is, right, because we can safely say Raya will be starting the next like 2-3 months, right?
Yep.
For Ramsdale to want to prove his worth, right, he has to play like those Carabao Cup.
Confirm one.
Yeah.
It's always like that.
I mean, like, we all thought that Raya would be the EPL keeper, then Champions League maybe Ramsdale will play. But then it's not the case. Raya played for Champions League also.
Yeah.
So it could be it can go both ways, but sometimes if you try, like, if Ramsdale want to prove his point too much, maybe he's like more error prone. Yeah, you cannot close that door,
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see.
But anyways, I think
it's a good I think it's for Arteta, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Josh, you want to say something?
I mean, let's see this week the first Mickey Mouse Cup begins.
Arsenal player.
Burnley. Company.
But I think like what John said, let's see where this is going, because goalkeeper controversy, it happens at different clubs also. But also, Paul, I wanted to say something earlier on, is that in relation to like Pep and Klopp, right, I find that for them it's slightly different because they have the 2 best goalkeepers in the world doing it at that particular job. So it's very hard to find somebody is on par to both of them. Whereas like Raya and Ramsdale, right, is a different story because they can technically be on par in terms of stats. But when it's Alisson and Ederson, it's very hard to find a comparison.
But Raya is Spain's number 1, right?
Almost, I think.
Bro. I think he's Spain number 1, bro.
No, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Because it's
Brazil's number 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, it's a very hard comparison to put up, especially because Alisson and Ederson are so good at what they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that one is a bit more.
So it's a clear number 1.
Clear number 1. That one is slightly challenged, right? It's like even at United, right? Onana is clear number 100%.
Like because we we also lack of goalkeepers.
Correct. Bro, we got 4.
Yeah. and I just forgot the Spain keeper is Unai Simon. Sorry.
Your
Yeah.
favorite.
But
How
he's,
can you
he's
forget about
I think
him?
he's the second choice.
Alright. No, yeah, I think Ryan's number 2 lah. But I think that's why for Man City and Liverpool, right, it's slightly different lah. But we'll move on.
We will
we'll move
monitor
on
this
from
situation. Hopefully,
Yes.
Raya is a safe hands, not like Onana going through the rough spell now.
Yeah, that one, no to say. But I think for now, this is going to be interesting. I think you probably won't really see a clearly defined number 1, probably maybe until maybe just before Christmas or about November.
Yeah, during the tough run. Right?
During the tough run. So it may change again if, let's say, Raya does put in a bad performance. So it may go back to Ramsey. We will never see. We also won't know. So back to the main topics of today, which is, of course, what we are going to talk about is the newly promoted teams, which are, of course, Burnley, Sheffield United, and Luton Town. They've all had very difficult starts to the season. Currently, out of the first few games that they played, I think it's about 5 or 6, they've only gotten a point each, which is
Well done.
quite big disaster, considering the fact, right? And they are one of the few teams whereby they haven't even won a single game yet. Bournemouth, who's also just in front of them in 17, also hasn't won a game yet. But what we are going to talk about is basically reacting to the state of these teams and their performances currently. Is it a state of, it's just they had a rough start because the fixtures were not easy, or is it just a run of bad form where maybe they can turn it over? So we're going to look at the games that they played over the weekend, and then of course the results from the start of the season, and then the games moving forward, and then we see whether or not do they have a chance of surviving. So boys, ready to get into it?
Yes,
Talk about the
sir.
Yep.
Alright, so let's get into this week's episode of the Futbol Kaki, and of course the 3 newly promoted teams. Okay, so to begin this segment, we are going to talk about Burnley under Mr. Vincent Kompany. They played Man United over the weekend, and they of course lost 1-0 thanks to a brilliant movement of magic from Mr. Bruno Fernandes. But let's not talk about Man United because I think we've already exhausted them to a point. They are a very high talking point in every footballer's podcaster's opinion. But I think in overall sense for Burnley, watching this game as a Man United fan, right, and just an overall an analysis of this, right, I don't think Burnley did that badly, in my opinion.
They should have scored.
They should have scored.
Yeah.
I think they should have scored. They were unlucky in a sense where Adoni had, I think, 2 of their best chances. One where he had a header that forced Onana's save at the early part, and then he also hit the post. Onana did do his job, but I do think that Burnley did have United relatively on the back foot. So, guys, what do you think about Burnley's performance over the weekend?
You can tell the level is not there, bro.
Yeah.
It's like a EPL level. It's like for them to not press menu and not like really go attack menu the way other teams have been doing, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit wasted because menu is not in like the best form.
Yes.
And it's like best time. You want the best time to score against and beat them, right? I think it's now.
Yep.
And they did have a lot of chances in the first half where there was a one-on-one, but he completely shot wide, right, the ball.
Yeah.
There was one. Yeah. Then I was like, wow, what a waste. Onana was like rooted to the ground, so he wasn't even gonna dive for the ball.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I think
for them to keep it at 1-0 also quite.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, this Ramsey played quite well. I enjoy watching him. Actually, he's quite it brings stability to the midfield when he was in Aston Villa.
Aston Villa.
Yeah, and now that he's in Burnley, I just think, I mean, I watch purely the highlights only, but both, they have good chances, but they squandered their good chances.
Yes.
One kena the post, right?
Yes, the Amdouni, is it?
Amdouni.
It's very hard to pronounce.
Amdouni, bro.
Amdouni. Yeah. Then, like what Paul have said, I think if they
be more ruthless a bit.
Like just close them down faster. Like, Man United is being
slow,
unable to work with pressure.
And I also do think that, like, in terms of defense wise, right, I think Burnley did okay. I don't think they were that bad. So it's like, it's very, for me to fathom, right, how they're actually in the state they're in, right, is actually quite tricky because, like, if let's say you just look at their run of games, right, prior to this particular game, okay, they lost the game, right, literally because of a moment of magic. That's essentially it. It was just one moment where a long pass over the top and Bruno Fernandes volley first time, right? The off angle, right? That literally scored, right? I mean, if let's say you took that out of the game, right, 0-0 would have been a fair result. Or even a cruel result to Burnley. But the thing is that one moment of magic essentially happened, right? But if you're looking at games prior to this, I'm just going to read out like the last, since the start of the season. They played first game Man City, lose 3-0. Aston Villa lose 3-1. Spurs lose 5-2. Draw with Forest and then lose to Man United. That's not an easy start to the season by any means.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so the first 5 games is damn hard.
Yeah,
but they essentially
really
cleared the big teams already, you know.
Correct.
Yeah.
So hopefully can see some Vincent
Luton.
Company.
Yeah.
So, their next game is against Luton, I remember, yes.
So I would say they will be
find out who's the biggest loser.
They'll be the first team to get 3 points.
Yeah. I agree. And like I find that if you see that the way that they've been playing, right, they've not been horrible though. I find that they've actually been okay. It's just that if you were to give any team this start to the season, a middle club team will get this. Like Palace get this. Probably maybe they might win 1, draw 1, lose 3.
Yeah.
So it's like you get this. I would say that probably maybe their 1 point has been attributed to the type of start that they've had. But I think that defensively they also need to work on it because they conceded 13 goals already.
And they're playing Newcastle next.
Yes. Yeah, so I mean, like their start to the season not been good lah. But let's just look forward, right? Their next few games are Newcastle, Luton, Chelsea, Brentford, Bournemouth, and Palace. I think this is relatively easier compared to the first 5.
After you clear the Newcastle, then they should hopefully can
you put
establish
Chelsea,
their
you
personnel.
put Chelsea into the region.
No, because it's Luton after that first one. It's not Chelsea directly after.
Correct lah, but it's Chelsea.
Cannot rule it out.
Correct. So I don't know what you guys think. Like the next run of games, I think after Newcastle should be relatively easy for them to clear. At least
I won't say easy, but
at least
it's a chance for them to prove themselves at the top league.
A few points and a victory. Josh, what do you think?
I mean, anything can happen to football. Chelsea can lose to Burnley.
That's true.
Yeah. I think to give them benefit of doubt, they are better than Luton and Sheffield.
Yeah, I agree. That one I agree. Okay, I'm just gonna ask this question, right? We're gonna do this for every single one of them, right? Like, how many can they actually win the next 6?
Be hard to say, bro. Because now they haven't won one.
Correct.
So we don't know whether they are even capable of winning at this level yet. You know.
I think 6 points, at least.
6.
6 points.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean that they win 2, right? It can just be like maybe just draw like
6 or draw 6.
Draw 6.
Oh, yeah.
Draw
win.
6.
Yeah. 6
Win
points.
2, then lose the rest. That also can.
Or win 1,
draw 2. Win 1, draw 3, then lose the rest.
Yeah. So it could be possible. It could be possible because like I don't think they're gonna beat Newcastle and Chelsea. I think the rest of it maybe they got a chance. Especially with Bournemouth's like current state also is not very, very good. So maybe there's a chance about that. We shall see. In the end, I think Burnley versus Man United, I would say that unfair result to Burnley because they did have their chances. They could have won. They just squandered them, in my honest opinion. And it was just, even though you don't admit it, it was just a level in class. Let's just call it that in terms of what happened and what. The one took the chance, one didn't. Even though Man United's not in the group stage either. Next up, Sheffield United versus Newcastle.
Brother, I watched the games,
Sheffield United lost 8-0.
Wow, the goals
and
are
Newcastle had 8 different goal scorers.
too easy, man. Like it's like. Oh, sorry, I switched to amateur mode just now.
Just you know, I think already.
It's like, hey, do we play on amateur mode or do we play on normal?
I was thinking, right, like, you know, you play FIFA, right, it's on professional, right, but to make it more challenging, right, you put the halftime setting at 4 minutes. so your time go faster, right? 8-0, bro. 8-0, 8 different goal scorers.
Sheffield United by halftime, they thought they hopefully can change to 2 minute half.
Bro, no,
you forfeit the match 3-0 only.
3-0 only. And the thing is that at halftime, right, it was only 3-0.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but okay, honestly,
The
I
defending
think when it was 4 or 5-0, right? This Eddie Howe should be bringing Isak, Tonali, and
Even
Livramento. Yeah.
Ed Pin.
I want a piece of it. I want to get
Salt
on the
to the
score sheet
wound.
also. Yeah.
no, but I do think that like in terms of this one, right? Like Sheffield was just badly organized.
No, honestly, I feel at any point where, let's say, when it's 3-0 or 4-0 already, I think you should focus on defending. Like, you should limit the damage already.
Yeah.
It's
But
not like
they
you
didn't-
can score 5 back.
But the thing is that they didn't really limit anything. They were just more like their
No,
defending
that's
was
why
in
I say
general-
like maybe at 4-0, it should be a 100% team effort to defend, you know?
yeah,
like-
yeah.
Fight at the back, shore everything up, that kind. Damage
that one-
limitation.
that one I
But then
agree,
rather than lose 8-0, it's like, oh my god.
8-0 is like embarrassing. It's like managers can get sacked because of 8-0.
Sack the wages.
Wow. I mean, it's embarrassing. Like Man United lost 7-0, right?
Yeah, and the fact that nobody got sacked after that is shocking.
Yeah. Just what do you think?
Yeah.
8-0.
I guess it's just pure laziness. It's like they lose the ball right in the midfield. I don't know which goal. I think it's a fourth or fifth goal. They lose the ball in their own half. They got zero urgency to get back the ball. Then they just let them get a through pass to Almiron and score. Like what?
And the Anthony Gordon.
that
the
easy.
Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah.
Plus, also the goalkeeping was horrendous in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Fotheringham.
But his jersey nice.
Bro, don't care about the jersey lah.
It's not about the trends, modern trends.
Fashion, bro, fashion.
Bro, like if you put in that type of performance, right, in a Premier League game, you don't deserve to be there.
5-0, I saw more than half the stadium empty already.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're there and you pay your hard-earned money to go and watch a game like that, right, and you get trashed 8-0 at your own house, you should just leave, bro.
I think I will ask for a refund.
I don't know. I don't know whether they can do
it's
that.
worth a shot lah.
It's worth a shot, but the thing
Even
is,
the person, the admin who received your email is like, okay, I can understand why this guy wants.
but the thing is, what if you're a season ticket holder?
Prorated lah. For that season.
Yeah, 37 games instead of 38.
37 games. I only pay 37 games. I get a result for
No,
one game.
it's not 37.
No,
It's
19.
19. Yeah.
19.
I am a paying customer. I'm here to watch my team score, not the opponent score. Pay me back.
Are you not entertained? I'm not.
The reason why I find this surprising, right, is because leading up to this, right, they never lost by more than a goal deficit. So let's say
you went to Man City, right?
Yeah, so they're coming into the season, right? It was Palace 1-0 loss, Nottingham Forest 2-1 loss, Man City 2-1 loss, Everton 2-2 draw, lose to Spurs 2-1, right? Then lose to Newcastle 8-0. Like the 8-0 just come randomly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a fair reflection of like Sheffield as it is, because their start is equally as hard as the Burnley one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it is also, and the thing is that they perform better because they lost by smaller deficits, like 1 goal margins only.
Yeah.
And draw.
It's just a freakish game lah, maybe. And then, yeah, I will still say the same thing lah. Like maybe at 5-0 they should have stopped already. They should have just full on defense. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's like you say, like maybe no heart.
But how can you have no heart, bro? How can you have this is your job,
Bro, Man United had no heart.
No, don't.
After that one last year.
That one they get paid 350k to do nothing. I would take
Actually,
it. You know that kind.
Actually, come to think of it, it's like what Paul said, like when they concede 4 goals, 5 goals already, it's like you don't see playing as a whole block of defense in their own half. It's like they're all scattered.
Yeah, they're still playing like 0-0 that kind.
Yeah.
Still very open. The
yeah.
players still wide. All this,
So it's like I get that you're trying to like do your own normal style of football, right? But at some point, right, it becomes damage limitation already, like Paul said, lah. So, with them, I don't know lah. Like let's say for example, they can say, okay, my start's been hard. Maybe that's why I only get 1 point lah. But to lose 8-0 lah, I don't think it justifies your start being that hard lah. Honestly, 8-0. And that what forced them to the bottom of the table because they lost 8-0.
Yeah, before that, their goal difference only -4, I think.
Yeah.
Or something.
And the thing is that they only concede 9 goals
Yeah, if it's -4, they'll be 18th place now.
They consider almost the same amount of goals they had the entire first few games in one game. So, I mean what to do. And the thing is that their upcoming games are not easy. You think about it. West Ham, Fulham, Man United, Arsenal, Wolves, Brighton.
Ooh, Man United, Arsenal back-to-back. Damn.
Yeah.
Then they have a gap, then they got Brighton.
Oh, wow, yeah. Brighton you got to consider it as a top 6-7 team now.
Yeah. So you've got West Ham, you've got Fulham, Man United, Arsenal, Wolves,
That's
Brighton.
why I say, like, from the beginning, right, I feel that the EPL, now the EPL is not like last time EPL, you know. Last time you can lose to like a Stoke City, West Brom, that kind. Now I feel the level is really different because of the spending power that the top 8-9 teams. Yeah. So they really upgrade their teams to, like, even Brighton and maybe what's that team? West Ham.
Yeah.
I feel even that level is quite far away from the mid table already, you know.
Yeah.
So imagine like the newly promoted teams from Championship, right? How can they keep up with the top of the Premier League teams?
It's basically the European teams already. Anything like the European teams, right? Plus Aston Villa, right? They're top
like,
tier already.
Yeah. Can you imagine the top 7 teams already trying to run away from the 13 teams from the EPL, right?
Yeah.
Then imagine the Championship team that freshly came out. Bro, yeah. And I don't know, I don't remember Burnley signing a lot of players. Only the James Trafford, the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Sheffield also. Sheffield, they signed... Who did they sign?
Archer.
Yeah. Basham. Who also? What's his name from Spurs? From Everton last time? The Tom Davies, is it?
Yeah, Tom Davies.
Yeah, Tom Davies.
So it's like okay, they have played in the Premier League before, but it doesn't bring you up a level to be a...
No. It's like they're not good enough quality to actually help you improve drastically.
Correct.
I think that's the main thing. So honestly, their next few games, right? How many can they win? I don't think they can come away with anything. And maybe
it's 5 or what?
It's all away games.
6.
It's mostly away games.
West Ham, I repeat again, West Ham, Fulham, United, Arsenal, Wolves, Brighton. I think
maybe Fulham and Wolves got chance.
I think they're lucky to even get 2 points.
If they can beat Wolves, Wolves is not playing well also. No?
Yeah, but Fulham's also not say very easy also.
Yeah, Fulham, but they don't have the Mitrovic anymore.
Yeah,
maybe I think just Fulham and Wolves got. Maybe Man United lah. Put Man U inside. Put Man U in there also. Maybe they can get points. Maybe they can get points against Man U.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, let's just say, I think if they are lucky to even get like maybe 2 to 3 points, I think that's already a good start. But that's not a very good conditioning because their next run is very hard.
Yep.
Honestly, it's not easy lah. I don't think they're gonna win. I think they'll probably get a draw, maybe like 1 or 2 draws.
Okay. So Burnley was projected 6, now Sheffield 2.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see.
I think. Okay, coming down to the last one, Luton Town.
Oh brother, this is even worse.
This one, right? I honestly, right, this one I really feel bad for them, yeah. Because okay, let's just think, right? They drew 1-1 with Wolves. They had 10 men for majority of this game, about 52 minutes lah. They conceded first.
But they scored back, right?
Yeah. And the thing is that they conceded first and they scored back, right? But they scored back only because there was a handball. And other than that, right, nothing really happened. Other than the handball, right, and then the offside goal, which they thought was the winner lah. But Wolves is not doing very well. And the goal, right, if you actually see it, the player that scored, he bodied the Luton captain off the ball. And it's like
they're hardworking bunch.
Yeah.
it just don't click.
No, they just don't have the quality of player.
It's like they're trying to they're using their fitness to last as long as possible. But then fitness doesn't equal to talent.
No, it's true. Like for example, right, like okay, the guy that's got to go with Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto's not muscular.
Yeah, he's just small, bro. He's quite small, yeah.
Bro, Lockyer, right, who is the Luton captain, he's a lot bigger than Neto, right? Neto body him, body him, right, turning cut in and then just smash the ball into the net. If it wasn't for a penalty handball, right, that put Luton back into this game, Luton would have lost 1-0 to 10 men. Wolves 10 men.
Jalan, bro.
That's not a good sign. So that's not a good sign. Like I don't know, guys. What do you think? If you cannot capitalize on 10-man Wolves, right, Are you fated to go down?
I mean, I did put them last for my predictions.
True.
And yeah, I don't know how to say. It's like the quality of the teams that came up is like different from like a few years ago, like Fulham, Norwich, and then you lose teams like Leicester, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So the league really established itself like top best of the best, worst of the worst, you know.
Yeah.
Correct.
I was saying like if teams like Luton, they showed their worth fighting, but then sometimes do you think that referee do help them in terms of decisions?
Like give them PT, like kind.
Yeah.
I think yes. Because
because I just watched the replay of the handball. It's like
you see, you get what I mean, right?
It's like
you totally get what I mean, right? It's like, huh?
I can call and say no.
It can go no. It can be
correct. But then
it can be not given also.
Yeah. Like, all right, Christmas come early for Luton. It's a penalty.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's luck. Like literally, right? If they didn't have that penalty, right, they wouldn't have done well. And the penalty was a very bad penalty taken. Like, the ball is like you know, if you watch the Simon Charity game, you know, Speed he take the penalty.
Yep.
Yeah, the ball was just slightly faster and it went to the corner. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So
it's like close to Sunday football. Like
bro, I think Sunday league, right? I think Sunday league we can shoot the ball harder on a penalty than the guy that took a penalty lah. But I digress. We are not professionals. We are just three guys on a football podcast. But let's just talk about their start of the season, right? This is what worries me because honestly, right, their start is not hard compared to the other two. So like they lost 4-1 to Brighton, they lost 3-0 to Chelsea, which is expected them from the lose, right? They lost 2-1 to West Ham, 1-0 to Fulham, draw 1-1 with Wolves. Like I mean, like comparatively to what Sheffield United and Burnley have had, this is not a hard start.
I think it's not.
It's really not. So like,
and it's like the hard games are yet to come.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
So if you really comparatively, like, you can't blame a bad start. And also maybe because they didn't really have a decent preseason. Plus on top of that, they were settling their own like stadium stuff and everything like that, right? But even so, right, as professional footballers, right, this shouldn't have happened. Right? Plus you added Ross Barkley and like Tyre Strong.
And they're injured.
Yep. So I think this is why it's worrying for me. I think for Luton, because if you were to look at the rest of their games, let's just look at the next 6.
Everton,
wow, brother, is bad. Everton, Burnley, Spurs, Forest, Villa, Liverpool.
Everton, Burnley, Forest maybe got chance. Like can fight.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the Spurs, Villa, Liverpool confirm cannot on.
Yeah.
I haven't said the game after Liverpool yet.
What? Let me guess. What, Man United?
Yes, it's Man United.
That one maybe can get point from them.
Hey, I tell you, right, if 7 games down the road, right, and we are still in this bad shape, right, then I agree. 7 games down the road, Man United shouldn't be in this bad shape.
Don't feed yourself hope, bro.
I should remain positive on this particular instance because 7 games later is 21 points later. I will leave it at that. But honestly, right, like, Jots, of these 6, they got hope or they got no hope?
Everton, Burnley, Forest,
Villa, Liverpool.
I think Everton, Burnley, Forest. Yeah.
But Everton also this season look quite
shaky.
I mean, not shaky. I mean, slightly better than last season. I don't know.
Yeah.
I find I like the way Arsenal play with them. They can be quite dominant. Like recently, they also win the games. That one game against like 3-1 against.
It's Sean Dyche. I feel like it's also Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be good defensively anyway.
Sean Dyche.
So I don't think that's much.
But I think Burnley is the team that they might get a point away with or 3 points.
I think Burnley is a must-win for them.
But then also Burnley is also must-win for Burnley. For them.
Yeah. So the game, right, like super high stakes in terms of the early relegation because this part of the season, anything can happen. I think Spurs, Villa, Liverpool, they're gonna lose 100%. Forest might lose, might draw.
A Forest team gelling up quite nicely now.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the thing. Because
Hudson Odoi.
Forest haven't come together properly.
But maybe we might see maybe too many players also will cause an imbalance.
Yeah, maybe.
Overall, the relegation teams right now, right, they have to rely on Bournemouth and
Wolves to drop point.
And Wolves to drop point, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Also.
And hopefully the gap is always like 2 points, 3 points gaps away.
Okay, so yeah, so are we predicting 3 points for them? Or 2 points?
Luton.
Yeah.
2.
Okay, I'll just say 3 points because maybe they'll win like 1, right? They will win 1 out of 6, hopefully.
Hey bro, you think about it, right? We predicted 6 points, 3 points, and 2 points. 6 points in 6 points out of 21 is damn bad.
But you must see who you're playing also, ma.
Yeah lah.
Okay, but to be honest, the more desperate you need point, right, the better you play, I feel.
But the more desperate you need point, also sometimes the worse you play.
No, but that's why they have to say, right, the top team shouldn't play a team in the relegation zone because they are desperate for points.
Yeah, maybe that's true. We shall see. I think that one probably will impact Liverpool the most, especially at the top of the table. But we'll see lah. Like the question now, right, I think just to close off this segment, right, is in long term, right, do they have a chance of surviving at all three of them?
Maybe not Luton and Sheffield.
Burnley, you think have?
Burnley, maybe. Burnley still very 50-50. I don't know. Because don't forget, they got 100 points last year.
But Sheffield got 91.
1.
Sheffield at 91.
Yeah.
My statement stands for itself. No, okay. Honestly, I don't know lah. Maybe because I haven't seen Burnley play proper, you know.
Maybe.
Maybe take positives away from the Man U game lah. You know, that they can actually play a top team.
Yeah, maybe. And I think now company can say, okay, the hard run of games is over. Let's focus now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a motivational thought he can actually say because they already know going into the season the start is going to be hard.
Yeah.
And I think Sheffield can also say the same thing also.
Yeah.
But I think for Luton is a different deep talk.
I find the textbook model for championship team to get promoted and
stay in the league.
To stay in the league. I think Fulham done a very good job.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Because the manager
I don't know how they do it. They just tell Mitrovic, you stay with us until we get relegated.
Until you get promoted.
Get promoted. Then I think they overall did quite a good job. Then it's like they from Premier League down and get back up again.
Then down again.
Yeah.
Then up.
No lah.
They stayed
down a few times, bro. They down a few times.
But with Mitrovic they stayed.
He was based on last 3 seasons.
They stayed there. But Mitrovic stayed after they stayed.
Yeah.
Then now Mitrovic paid them back by giving them 50 million war chest. They can spend to go and buy players that actually add onto the squad. Just a fun fact, right? If I'm not mistaken, right, if let's say all 3 teams go down, this is the first time since 1997, 1998 when Arsenal won the league, right, that all 3 teams got relegated. After
the 3 promoted teams got relegated.
Yes, all 3 teams got relegated after they just got promoted. So we shall see whether that will happen or not. Boys, anything before we close up this part of the episode?
Nope.
No, man.
Oh, good.
I still think maybe Wolves will go down. They're not far away. They're like, I think 17, right? Is it?
Never mind. I'm resigned to the fact at the end of the year, right, Korean barbecue on me already. I don't.
Yes, sir.
We shall see. We shall see. I may concede early, but we don't see it lah. I think maybe.
Okay.
So all right. So with that is it for this week's episode of the Futbol Kaki. Okay, so that is it for this week's episode of the Futbol Kaki. For those of you who are listening in, we just want to say thank you for your continued support to the Chit Podcast Network and, of course, our various shows, which include the Kopi Bros every Monday involving Paul, Midet, Brandon, and Jin Yong. And, of course, the SG Draft Podcast every Friday, where we draft about different topics and have fun while we do it. Involves the Kopi Bros gang and the Futbol Kaki gang all together to just have fun lah. So we've got a few unique topics. Last week was a man cave. A few weeks ago was songs. Yeah. We just hope that you continue to join us for those shows, and of course we hope that you continue to like and subscribe to the Chit Podcast Network, and of course follow us on our social media underneath Paul or Jordan.
We should do a football draft.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, I think that one is in the works, but we gotta bring it up to.
That's a collaboration.
Yeah,
We must submit for
bring out the
approval.
collaboration. The SG draft Kaki. Okay, we will see. We will discuss that internally with, of course, me that. Then we will see what's going to happen. But from everybody here, we just want to say thank you, and of course, have a good week ahead. And bye bye.
Come on, Luton.
Luton.